Esiku dede asikoi. Hey guys, it's Adirunke again. Today I'd like to use the word breathe in different sentences, and I'm going to include I can breathe. So, knowing how to say I can breathe would be one of them. Amy is how to say breath. Amy, do mimi, Amy, that's how to say it. Amy. Please bear in mind that it's limited to breath, as in the one related to life. It cannot apply to the breath from the mouth. So whether it's good breath or bad breath, it doesn't apply. That would be more smell, For the Yoruba application, for the Yoruba way of saying it, it would be more your mouth smells or something like that. You can't say you have a bad breath in Yoruba and then use the word Amy. It doesn't apply. It's restricted to breath, as in life. Me is breathe. Me is the verb that you get from the noun Amy, which is breath. Me is breathe. Me is breathe. It's not included in this video. I'd have to make a separate video for it, but mi kanle is how to say sigh. When you translate it anyway, it's breathe heavily. But when you treat it word for word, you say mi kanle. Kanle is a combination of two words, kan ile. Breathe to the ground till it touches the ground is what it would look like if you're transliterating word for word. Kan is like touch, and ile is the floor, the ground, the base. So you breathe till like it goes down. It almost sounds like you start with a higher noting code of breathing and it goes really low to the ground. That's sigh. So mi kan le or mi kan ile. That's sigh. But me is breathe, simply. Me is simply breathe. Mommy is how to say don't breathe. Mommy is how to say don't breathe. Some people write it like this, mommy, just because of how people say it, when they're talking. I suppose some people put extra emphasis when they talk, and they translate it to how they write, which is wrong. Mommy is, mommy, don't breathe. Sometimes it almost sounds like you hear an extra E, what you call the I in English, an extra E there. Mommy. But it's not there. It's not there. Mommy. That's this. The proper way to write it is with the single E, what you call I in English. Mommy. So it's not mommy. This is not correct. It is mommy is incorrect. I guess people confuse it with a different statement, which is mommy. And that doesn't even apply to breathe at all. Me is to shake. Mommy. The E there would be like a pronoun for it. It's like mommy ed, for example. Mommy dear, ed is buttocks, is like your, Mommy dear, don't shake your buttocks. Mommy, don't shake it. So the me there's shake, it has nothing to do with breathe, and so they're not to be confused, So mommy, this is the proper way to write. Don't breathe. This is the proper way. To say I cannot breathe, you would say mi ò lè mí, mi ò lè mí, mi ò lè mí. Me is I when used within a sentence. Me is I. O is like not. Whenever you see O in the Yoruba sentence as a standalone word like this, it means not. Le is like can or like able to. Me is breathe. So Mi ò lè mí is I cannot breathe. The positive version of that would be I can breathe. So mo lè mí, when being used positively, it wouldn't be me, it would be mo. I would have to explain that in a different video. But mo is also I when used in a sentence. Lè is can, me is breathe. Mo lè mí is I can breathe. Mo lè mí, I can breathe. To say I'm not breathing, and it won't necessarily be because you can't. When you say it this way, you're more or less saying I'm not doing it. Perhaps you're choosing not to, but it's not because you can't. You're better off using mi ò lè mí when you want to say I cannot, I have a problem breathing. But when you say mi ò mí, you're not inferring in any way, shape or form that it's because you cannot. You're simply saying that you are not. So mi ò mí, mi is I, o is not, mi is breathe. When you put that together word for word as it appears, it would be I not breathe. It would be I not breathe. When you're translating the Yoruba language to English, please don't judge the language by English standards, or don't make this language a slave to the other by wanting the word for word arrangement to somehow be the exact same as it appears in English. When you translate, you discover that, with the example of I cannot breathe, not seem to come before can. So don't say, oh, this language doesn't make sense because it's not in the order that English words usually would be in. That's not fair. When you put these words together, I not breathe is what it would be when you transliterate it word for word. You want to make that make sense in English. So there would be an invisible am in the me. I am not. And you cannot say I am not breathe. So you'd have to say I'm not breathing. So it would be I am not. Although you cannot see the am and the in, in the breathing, the ing in the breathing. It's there when you're translating, it's not there. But when you're translating, you have to put it, because that's the only way that it would make sense in English. I am not breathing. Mi ò mí, I am not breathing. To make that positive, you say I'm breathing. So mo mí, mo is I. Whenever you see as a standalone word, it's usually standing as is or am or are, A-R-E, or it just shows that the statement is one that is currently happening. You're saying whatever that statement is, you're saying whatever it is currently happening, or it happens. So a present tense or continuous tense. Mo mí, I am breathing. Me would become breathing because makes it like a present tense or a continuous. So mo mí could be I am breathing. It could also be I breathe. Are you able to? It's like you go to visit someone in the hospital, and perhaps for the longest time they were using life support, but then you want to know if they're now able to breathe. When you say share me, share dami, but share me. The person might reply by saying, "Oh, mo mí da. I breathe well, or I am breathing well." But whenever you see anyway, it's something that is currently, whatever is in that sentence, something is currently happening or it happens. Mo mí could be I am breathing. It could also be I breathe. To say I do not breathe or I did not breathe, you would say mi ò mí. I've said that whenever you see o as a standalone word, it's usually negating. Something is being negated in the statement. Mi ò mí would be I did not breathe or I do not breathe. if you don't put the deed, that's why I put it in commas. If you don't put the deed, it would be I not breathe. But obviously, when you translate that, it would be rough. That would just be the transliteration. The translation would be I did not breathe, or I do not breathe, instead of I not breathe. I did not breathe, I do not breathe. Me or me, me or me. Bear in mind that this is the second time you're seeing me or me. The first time was when I said I am not breathing. I am not breathing, me or me. So apart from the fact that me or me can be I am not breathing, it could be I did not breathe, or I do not breathe. Could be I did not, or I did not breathe. The positive would be momi, which is I breathe. Momi, I breathe. Momi. Mi o ti mi is I have not breathed. Mi o ti mi, I have not breathed. Me is I, O is not, T is have, me is breathe. You can't say I have not breathed. You have to say I have not breathed, just to align with English grammar rules. So, mi o ti mi, I have not breathed. To make that positive, mo ti mi is I have breathed. Mo ti mi, I have. Mo ti mi, mo is I, T is have, me is breathe. You can't say I have breathed, so you have to say I have breathed. Mo ti mi, I have breathed. Most people who watch this video will probably know that the opposite version of what is on the thumbnail, which is I can breathe, is in fact one of the most prevalent statements for the times. I cannot breathe. And I just want to say one or two things about the All Lives Matter movement, because if you can't support something, I suppose you don't torture those who are supporting it. I guess I don't understand the rationale behind this hashtag. In a perfect world, if all lives did matter, you wouldn't even need this hashtag, because it would be counterintuitive. You would scream all lives matter, and people would be like, well, no, SHRT, why we all know that, and that is practical in our society. It wouldn't even come to your mind, because it wouldn't even be an issue. Everybody would know that. But if you have to stress this, the fact that you even have to say all lives matter shows that all lives don't even currently matter. You want to pretend like everything is okay, but I don't know, the hashtag is countering itself. It's almost like you want to fight for it, like all lives matter. It's almost like saying all lives should matter. But if you're saying that, it must be that all lives don't currently matter. I don't know if anybody gets the logic behind it. I don't know. But it doesn't make any sense. And if you see the hashtag for the first time, you think, wow, this is really brilliant. Because you think, if you have absolutely no idea what the movement is about, you think, oh, wow, yes, finally, humans are finally, coming to terms that all lives matter. But as it stands, it's really hypocritical. It's hypocritical because of the word all that is included in it. All. So when you say all, you're thinking people of color, you're thinking the LGBT community, you're thinking animals, you're thinking people with disabilities, you're thinking seniors and vulnerable persons, you're thinking people with mental illnesses, you're thinking sick and hungry children, you're thinking Muslims post 9/11. All, okay? All kind of life. It doesn't matter what kind of body it inhabits. As long as whatever it is can breathe, that's a life. Whether it's a cow, whether it's a woman, whether it's a fish, all lives. And so if you are an active supporter of this movement, you have to actively support each of these groups whenever there's a danger being posed to them. If the All Lives Matter hashtag is to be used positively, it would be that people who are part of this movement actively support each one of these groups when they are in danger, because they want to maintain the status quo, the push that all lives matter and it should matter. The current All Lives Matter group is pretty much saying all lives matter, but all lives should not matter. I honestly, it's a bit upsetting for me because I don't get it. And sometimes I think, is it inherent in persons to know that all lives really do matter? Is this something that is inherent in every human being? Some say that when a child is born, they don't, we teach them religion and we teach them things in school, and there's peer pressure and there's the media and society, and all things removed, all of these major themes removed, they would know that all lives matter. Some don't think so. Some think, if you say that, you're assuming that the child, the soul, is coming on a plain slate. They've never had a previous lifetime. They've never existed in a different form. That soul, that life, before inhabiting that body and being birthed, never existed anywhere else. Never, not even on the earth plane. And that's the only time that it would be inherent. Some say if you have a previous lifetime and you were like a white person, or you were a slave owner, or you were a slave or something, as a child, as a 1-year-old, you may not, even before you can properly construct sentences or whatever, you may not think about it, but as you grow older, you start to remember your previous self, and you start to gain experiences that help you improve your previous self from a previous lifetime or from a previous plane of existence where lives or souls can exist. So it's an interesting topic. I think there are really valid points for the it is inherent team, and there are really valid points for the it is not inherent team, because the philosophers would say, okay, you are the first man on the planet Earth. You are the first man. There's no one else. You've been here for a while, and suddenly you see another man. And what's your instinct? Is it to help that other man, or to exert dominance, to want to attack the other man and say, oh, get out of my space, or get out of my property? Some men still do today, or get out of my face. What would your reaction be? That would be a true test, a true way of knowing if all lives matter is really inherent in every human mind or not. For those who would say, oh, the first instinct would be to attack or to scare off or something, I think they have really valid points. They are the ones on the it's not inherent team. But all of it is pretty interesting. And there's room for discussion, there's room for discussion when things like this are concerned. But the fact that you have to even use an All Lives Matter hashtag, the fact that you have to stress it, shows that all lives matter. The idea that all lives matter is under a threat. That's the only reason why it would be a hashtag in the first place. Brainwashing is one major thing. Brainwashing is one major thing that really affects people, and it's because of the aforementioned factors like religion and education and peer pressure and all that. And the human existence is funny because a lot of our learning is literally unlearning the trash that we have learned, whether from our parents or from the church or what. One of the major things that you learn in the church is that all lives do not matter, and on the judgment day, all lives will not matter, because some will go to heaven and some will burn in hell. In the Yoruba culture, we don't have the concept of hell. There's no good heaven and bad. Oru is heaven, It was Ajayi Craft that I came up with Oru Akpadi. Akpadi doesn't even mean hell. Akpadi is a different space, sort of like a limbo state where you are not on earth, but you're also not in heaven. And it's not really a cool place. I don't even think it's where human souls would even be, like all things equal. If like they must have done something. I would have to treat it in a different video, but it's not like hell. There's no fire. There's just nothing, and you want to be either on earth or in heaven, but you're not. It's a huge concept, but we don't have we don't have fire and all that. So what you discover that with many people that have left religion behind and have practically just reassessed what they learned as children and reassessed what they learned amongst their friends and all that, you discover that a lot of what is supposed to be, what is presented to be learning, don't be racist, it doesn't matter what the color of a person's skin is. What really matters is the content of your all this learning is practically just unlearning the trash that you've been taught. So I think it's really interesting, and that's why I like the idea of invention. Humans could never fly, only birds fly, and then the plane comes into being. Humans can now fly. You've unlearned the trash that, I suppose when you were first born, you didn't know if you could fly or not. You were just practically staring in your parents' faces. You didn't know if they could fly. You weren't really thinking. I guess you were just looking at everybody. Maybe at that point you didn't know that on Earth humans don't fly. But then you go to school to become a pilot, not only to unlearn the lie that humans cannot fly or cannot reach a particular level in the sky, but you think, well, I'm unlearning this trash that humans cannot fly. If humans were to fly, or if we are to make humans fly, how do we go about it? Then you start to come up with the idea of, an airplane. There can be something like a helicopter or a plane that humans can fly with. So you've unlearned the lie that it's not possible. Or humans could never get into space. It's like trying to challenge God. There's a part of the Bible, I don't know if it's in the Quran. It's an attempt to challenge God when you attempt to go to space. Why would you even think about going to space? Look at what happened with the people who tried to ascend, who tried to build the building that got up to heaven, and God made them start to speak different language. That's one of the most beautiful myths that I've ever come across in my entire life. I've read myths regarding the tortoise and all that, but that one, the Tower of, is it Tower of Babel or something? That, I don't know if it's in the Quran. I don't know what it would be if it's in the Quran, but I think it's a fantastic myth. I was really into it as a child. I was extremely curious about that story. And if you've been in Christian settings, as a child you probably were extremely curious. That's interesting. So now humans have learned that by trying to get up to space or get to a certain level in the sky, they are not challenging God. They are just practically using their brains and using the creativity that they are born with, but they let die because of societal trash, because of societal falsehoods that are passed on as truths. So now people can go into space People can walk on the moon. People can do different things that I hope you get my point. A lot of our learning as humans is practically unlearning. So that's pretty interesting when you really think about it. I sometimes when I'm on my own and I just like think about things, I just laugh because wow. I keep coming back to this earth. My soul keeps coming back, and I keep finding everything that is being done here, or that is done here, really interesting. And sometimes I laugh at my own self because I think, oh, wow, at this point in my life, at age 15, I thought this was right. And I never used to think that way. Or I thought this was wrong. And if this person hadn't told me, if I hadn't read it from this book or heard it from this person, I would not even think that. So I laugh at how much brainwashing, I went through. I learned from other people. It amazes me. It's like you come to the earth for a mission, but then at some point in your life, and for me, it was pain that ignited my awakening. And the minute you get awakened or like returned, your brain gets refreshed. You think it's like, did I really do that? It's like going to a doctor's appointment and they give you, maybe they drug you, or they give you an injection that makes you hallucinate or something. When you wake up and you look back at footages and you look at footages of yourself, you think, did I really say that? That's funny. Like, really? So the same happens with me. Anyway, thank you for your support. Please, give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and comment and share amongst your friends if you'd like to. And thank you so much for your support. Thank you to my new patrons. Thank you so much. Continue to support my channel, please. And I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.